Hi scholars! Today we're going to continue practicing measuring area by using our multiplication strategy. So remember, area measures the space inside of a shape, and don't get tricked with perimeter, because perimeter also has to do with measuring shapes, but it's measuring the outside of a shape. So with perimeter you use addition because you can just add the length of all of the shapes all the way around a shape. But area is a little bit more tricky and a little bit more complicated because you need to measure the total space inside of a shape. And you won't always have a grid like you see on this shape here. Sometimes you'll just have the measurement of the length of the shape and the width of the shape. And then if you just have those two numbers, what you need to do is multiply the length and the width together. So remember, the area is the amount of space that is inside of a shape, and because it's an amount of space, it has to be measured in squares. If the shape is measured in centimeters, the area would be measured in square centimeters or centimeters squared. If you are measuring the area of a rectangle, then the area will equal the length multiplied by the width. Or the area of a rectangle equals length times width. The area of the rectangle below is 5 times 3, or 5 squares by 3 squares. Let's watch a video to tell us a little bit more about how we calculate area.
Maybe we should paint this wall. Well, first, we should figure out the area of the wall. What is area? Area is the measurement of the space inside of a shape. You can calculate the area to figure out how big a room is, or how much carpet you need to cover a floor. You can calculate area to find out how much wallpaper you need, or how much tile you need to cover a wall. In our case, we can calculate the area of the wall to figure out how much paint we need. What are square units? You can find the area of a shape by dividing it into equal squares and counting them. These squares are called square units. This shape is 3 squares wide and 3 squares tall. There are 9 square units inside the shape. So the area of this shape is equal to 9 square units. Right, Moby, we can describe an area in square units. This rectangle is 10 squares wide and 5 squares tall. It has an area of 50 square units. What is the area of this shape? It's a little tricky because there are 2 half squares here. First, count the whole squares. There are 10 square units. There are also 2 half square units. 2 half square units make 1 whole square unit. So this shape has an area of 11 square units. How do you calculate area? What is the area of our class garden? I know that our garden is 6 feet long and 4 feet wide. We could divide the garden into 1-foot squares. There are 24 of these 1-foot squares, so our garden's area is 24 square feet. Instead of counting all the squares, you can multiply the length and width to find the area. 6 feet times 4 feet is equal to 24 square feet. Let's see. This wall is 4 meters by 2 meters. Multiply to find the area. 4 meters times 2 meters is equal to 8 square meters. Since we know the area of our wall, we can figure out how much paint we need. I think we've got enough paint, Moby.
So we use multiplication to help us figure out the area inside of a shape. For today's practice, we're going to be only calculating the area of rectangles, so we won't have to worry about how that shape had 2 half squares. We won't have to do any of those things yet. So we're just focusing on multiplying to find the area. Remember, multiplication helps us find the total number of items or the total number of area inside of a shape quickly. For multiplication, we'll think about the number of equal-sized groups and the number of items in each group. So just like when we started, when we were talking about arrays, multiplication is basically like putting your organized groups, your equal groups, into rows and then counting them. Or you can think about the multiplication symbol, the X symbol, as saying boxes of. So if it's, for example, like in this problem, it's 5 times 2, you can think about it like 5 boxes of 2. So let's look at this example. Each time you visit your neighbor's dog, Tuffy, you give him 2 dog treats. Each equal-sized group has 2 treats. So this represents each day that you visit your neighbor's dog and each time you give him 2 dog treats. You visited Tuffy 5 times last week. So there are 5 equal-sized groups. 5 boxes with 2 bones in each box. We can use multiplication to figure out how many treats you gave Tuffy. The symbol for multiplication is X. If we translate the symbol into words, it means groups of, or sometimes we say boxes of. For this problem, we have 5 groups of 2 dog treats. We can use the X symbol to write the problem. 5 groups of 2 equals 5 times 2, and if you count up all the bones together, you can see that if you have 2 5s, or 5 times 2, that equals 10. You gave Tuffy 10 dog treats last week. Let's take a look at our classwork for today. So here's our classwork for today, and we click on the Zoom button. We click 1 time, and then we click the Zoom button again so we don't keep clicking in. And then remember, like our lesson yesterday, use 2 fingers on the mouse pad, and then you can move around your worksheet in any direction. First things first, we always put first name, last name, and the date. Today is the 14th of May, and then we can read the directions. So this says area is the measurement of square units inside of a shape. Use the equation to find the area. So to find area, we have to multiply the length times the width. Length just means how long an object is, and width means how thick it is. So the length times the width. So in this example, we have a length of 9, a width of 2, and they already gave us the answer. 9 times 2 is 18. But I have this extra box here because I want to show you how it would look as a multiplication problem. So 9 times 2 makes 18. And basically, the times means groups of or boxes of. So 9 boxes of 2. But remember, it can go both ways, just like addition. It does not matter which comes first. So use that to help you draw it out in an easier way. So it could be 9 boxes of 2, or it could be 2 boxes of 9. And if you add that all together, that makes 18. So for your classwork for today, I want you to fill out each of these boxes with the length, the width, and the area, and this extra box here is for your multiplication problem. So I'm going to do the first one with you just so you know how to fill in each of these boxes. So remember, length goes side to side. It's across right here. We can also kind of think about it like with arrays. This would be our columns that we have going all the way across. So the length of this rectangle is 4. I'm not sure why the 4 is going all the way down there, but I'm going to move this box up a little bit. That's weird. I'll try to fix that later. The width of the shape is how thick it is, and it goes up and down like this. The width of this shape is 5. And the area is the length times the width. So I'm going to make my multiplication number sentence here, and I'm going to put 4, and for the times symbol you can just use the letter X. 4 times 5 is equal to what? And I'm not going to put my answer here because my answer goes down here with the area. So to figure out 4 times 5, 5 is a friendly number, so I can think about it like I'm just counting by 5s 4 times. So you can use your fingers to help you, and you count 5, 10, 15, 20. And you should have 4 fingers up now. So 4 times 5 is 20. Just like that. And I think actually to make it more clear, I'm going to put this right here. That way it kind of goes with the answer. 4 times 5 equals the area, which is 20. So I'll move all these squares down a little bit. And that's our classwork for today, scholars. You are calculating the area of each of these shapes, and don't forget to put your multiplication problem in the box next to where it says area to remind yourself it's very different from perimeter. You're not doing addition, you are doing a multiplication problem for each of these. All right, scholars, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and don't forget to hit submit so your teacher can double check your answer. All right, scholars, have fun learning today. Sorry, scholars, one last thing. I tried to fix this text box thing, how it's going lower than the box, and for some reason it just goes down there. So when you put in your answer, don't worry about it. It might look like that, but your teacher should still be able to read the answer. And I apologize, it's kind of bothering me too. I wish it was inside the box, but for some reason it's not going inside. So don't worry about it. Just put your answers in, and again, don't forget to put your multiplication problem here. All right, that's it, scholars. Bye.